Hey, it's James from jgscripts.com, and this is the showcase of the brand new dealership script. So this is the most fully featured dealership script currently available for FiveM, with the ability to add multiple showrooms, have own dealerships, set up display vehicles from within the game without having to go into a config file, test drives, financing, and loads more. There's also loads of built-in features for admins in-game that help you manage vehicles, import them from other scripts, and do even more. So I'm going to try and show as much as possible in this quick video. So yeah, let's get started. So here I am in one of the default dealership locations. This is a Gabs map, which I'm sure many of you are very familiar with, and the showroom is set up with the open showroom right here at the desk. So I'm just going to hit E, and here I can browse all of the currently set up categories and vehicles available for this showroom. So admins can select exactly what vehicles and what categories will be shown for each dealership. So for example here, I can have a look and I can go through the SUVs category. So I want to have a look at this Benefaster Dubster here. And when I click on it, I can see all stats about it. So I can see its name, I can see its handling stats, I can see the price of it. And if I've enabled financing, I can see how many payments I would have to make and what that monthly payment would be. I can even change the color here and have a look at what it would look like in my chosen color. So I'm interested in purchasing this vehicle, but I want to buy it on finance. So I'm going to hit this and have a look at what the information is for the financing agreement. So it's a $2,000 down payment in this example, and I can see that I have to make a payment every 12 hours and I pay a 10% interest. This is all configurable. For the amount of hours between payments, this is in-game time. So this can be configurable based on how much time the player is actually spending in-game. So they won't just have a missed payment while they're not in-game playing. So I want to go ahead and click purchase. And here I can see my options. So I can either pay it in full or I can finance over the 12 payments. So I'm going to choose finance over 12 payments. And this only lets me choose my bank account because you can't finance over cash naturally. And a cool feature we have as well is you can see exactly how much money you have in your bank account before you purchase, so you don't have to exit to find out. So I can clearly see now I have to pay today is $2,000, and then again I can see my full breakdown to find out what I'm going to pay over time. So that's it, I'm ready to purchase. So I'm going to hit purchase. And it takes me into my vehicle, and now I'm ready to drive off and enjoy my vehicle. Now, of course, this vehicle's been financed, so what I may want to do is I may want to check the financing status, make a missed payment, or make an early payment. So if you're using our advanced garages script, then you actually get this built into the garages. I'll show a screenshot of it over here. But if you're not using our advanced garages script, then you can simply use /myfinance, and you can view all of your current finance vehicles. So in this case, this is my Benefaster Dubster, and I can see that it's currently got $18,000 of balance remaining and 12 remaining payments. From here, I can make an early payment, like so, maybe many early payments, or I could just go ahead and pay it in full and remove it completely. So from within the showroom too, I can also do things like test drive. So maybe I've had a look around the vehicle, I'm not too sure whether this is the right vehicle for me, does it go fast enough, is it going to be worth that payment? I can go ahead and hit test drive. So you can configure the test drive location. In our example on our server here, we've set it up at the airport, but you can then just drive around the vehicle. And you can set up how long the player can test drive for, and where they're allowed to be. So for in this case, I'm pretty happy with this. I want to go ahead. So I'm going to go and just exit the vehicle, and I'll end my test drive to be right back into the showroom where I can go ahead and purchase my vehicle. Maybe this is also not the right vehicle for me. Maybe I'm looking for something like slightly different. So what I can actually go ahead and do is I can just go ahead and search. So I don't need to browse through all the categories to find exactly the vehicle I want. I know I'm looking for a baller, so I can just go ahead and search. And this search goes cross-category, so I can just find exactly the vehicle I'm looking for. So I want the baller long wheelbase. And I found my two options, so either normal or the armored version. So I think the armored version looks good. I'm going to have a quick look around it. Maybe I want it in black. I'm pretty happy with that. Let me go ahead and purchase. And I see that I actually can't afford this vehicle. So even if I finance, I can't afford it. And if you can't afford it, it's very clearly labeled that you can't afford the vehicle. So that was an example of a self-service dealership, where there's no stock levels, no one owns the dealership, and there's no one managing it. You can also set up own dealerships though. So own dealerships are owned by a player, there's a bank account, and they're in charge of stocking the vehicles to make sure you can actually make a purchase. This can incite more roleplay, and in the future we're planning on having features where you can hire employees and do so much more. For now though, once you've added the coordinates for a location in the configuration file, you can also set it to be owned. And once you've done that, you can head into dealer admin in game, head to the dealerships area, and here you can see all of those locations. So you can see that I've updated the PDM dealership to be an owned one, and you can see the current owner is Sam, and I can see its bank balance here. This is the server owner level, so only they can see this information and update its owner. So in this case, I'm an admin, so I'm going to go ahead and update the owner to just myself for now. I'll update that. So even though I've done this to myself, I'm now the official owner of this dealership. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to walk to the back office where I set the dealership management up to be. And I'm going to get a prompt. So I'm going to hit that prompt, and I'm now going to see my account balance. I'm going to see how many vehicles have been added to this particular dealership to browse, and then total sales. That was the one from me before. I'm also going to see that I have no vehicles on display. So I'm going to show you that in just a second. I can of course withdraw and deposit as I would wish. Now vehicles are handled at a admin side. So admins are the only ones that can set the vehicles in the entire, across all dealerships, and they can set what vehicles will be in each dealership. If a dealership is then owned by a player, the only thing they can then modify is the sale price, so they can choose whether to be cost competitive with other dealerships or whether they need to run a sale, and they can place orders for new vehicles. So in this case, I want to search for the Ballers, and for the Baller 2, I want to increase the price to 18,000 for sale, and I want to actually place an order for it, because right now I have 0 in stock. So I'm going to go ahead and place an order from my bank account. Vehicle's been successfully ordered, and now I can see it in here. So I've set up a 0-minute delivery time for these, but you can set any amount of time where there'll actually be a wait time for delivery, and you'll be able to see the live countdown right here. But for these of this demo, I've set it to 0, so we can immediately have that delivery. So when I head back to the vehicles, I can see that it's now in stock, and now players would actually be able to purchase this. If someone does purchase it, I can have a look at it in my sales. And if someone's financed it, you'll also be able to see how much they've paid or how much they still owe, which is a really useful feature to see where the money in the dealership is coming from. As an owner, I can also update the dealership name to maybe represent my branding as the owner of the dealership. This will update the blip on the map. The most interesting part of this whole thing is, as a dealership owner, I can actually set up display vehicles. And this really lets me, as an owner, really customize the feel of my walking into my dealership. And it's so intuitive to do in game. So I can hit add vehicle. I can search from a list of vehicles. Say I want the Baller 2 that I just added. I can select a color, and I can select place vehicle. And now all I do is I literally walk around. So I'm in the office right now, but I can just walk outside my office, and I'm holding the car with me. So I can head over to this place right here, and I can just hit enter. And by hitting enter, I've placed the car down, where I can now make incremental adjustments back forth, spin it around to get just the right positioning that I'm looking for, and then hit save changes. And this displays it for everybody now. This is persisted through server restarts and is always there, visible for everybody to see. At any time I can switch the vehicle out for a different one and keep its positioning, or I can just remove it, and then it's gone. Okay, so the final part of the demo is going to be the admin side of things. So we showed managing dealerships from within game after you set up the coordinates, but the most important part is managing vehicles. So as an admin, you can see all vehicles that are available on sale across all dealerships. You can manage the recommended retail pricing for them, and you can also delete them, edit them, and import new vehicles from another source. So the first thing to show is the import. So if this is a fresh dealership you're setting up, there'll be no vehicles available, but you can quickly import from QBCore shared/vehicles, and it will add vehicles to dealerships based on the dealership setting in the actual file itself. But you can also import from the ESX vehicles table, which is where the default ESX vehicle shop actually gets its vehicles from. And most importantly, you can append or override. So if you just have some new vehicles that have been added recently, you can run an append, and it'll ignore all the current vehicles in the dealership and just add the new ones. An override will override everything. So an override will delete all existing data, that's everything, all orders, sales, display vehicles, and completely reset the database. I'm not going to do this because we've added a lot of extra vehicles, as you can see, 842. But yeah, it's a very, very fast import you can do from within the game. As an admin, I can also search through. So as usual, I can search for the Galavanter Baller, and I can see the spawn code of it for ease, and I can edit what dealerships it's available at, as well as its price. So if I hit edit, I can update the name of the brand of it, the model, its category as well, which is useful. I can update its price. So obviously the dealership itself updated its price, but you can set up a purchase price for dealers. So if someone owns a dealership, the purchase price can be set as a percentage of this standardized price. So if I want to make it more expensive for dealers to purchase, I can increase this price. As well as doing this, I can also overwrite the sale price that dealers are currently selling this vehicle at. So we know that PDM is selling this at 18,000, but I want to centralize the price of this vehicle for everybody to 20,000. So I can hit this box here. I also want to make this vehicle purchasable in the luxury dealership and the truck dealership. So I'm going to hit edit, and I can run all of those changes right from my admin panel. I can also delete vehicles. Let's say I imported and I realize I don't want to sell armored vehicles. I can quickly just delete those from everything. So I can delete this from all dealership locations, display vehicles, and remove all other metadata. I can also manually add vehicles. So I hit the spawn code, brand, model, category, price, and select what dealerships I want it to be available in. And then if it's an own dealership, managers can go ahead and just order the vehicle as they need. So that's all. I hope you enjoyed this quick demo of the brand new dealership script. Join Discord, let us know if you have any other questions, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it.